Good afternoon. It is I, Sock Marionette, bargain counter argument, ready to do productive things. Very productive indeed. Including drinking from this delightful Summit Diet Cola, which is the store brand at Aldi. Abby Jean, see, you just got your beverage check already, and I'm drinking it straight from the can because I got a lot of stuff to do and I don't feel particularly fancy today. I don't know if you can see over my shoulder. There's like a Swiffer hanging over there, and there's cleaning supplies kind of strewn about for my 10-minute unpleasant chore sprint is going to be dust management and trash management. Anna! Hello, loves. I have 0 sugar cola with apple juice mixed in. That's an interesting combination. I don't know that it would occur to me to do that. And Megan is here. Hi, Megan. And Anna says, I shall join the chores. I have to clean up my niece's mess from the last few days. Ah, now that the ladies have left the castle, the great room, and the guest solarium are probably kind of a mess. Anna says, it's something my grandmother used to drink. Well, yeah, I mean, my grandmother married my grandfather. I would never do that. What a jerk. But I'm sure your grandmother was lovely, and I shouldn't be questioning her taste in beverages. Oh no! Anna gave me the skull and bones. I have now made a mortal enemy of her. She will chase me throughout the high seas, seeking to exact her revenge for the dishonor I have done her grandmother's beverage of choice. I am sorry. I should not be yucking anyone's yum. As goodness knows, I don't necessarily have the most unquestionable taste in the world. Drop that on the floor. There's something else yes. Speaking of unquestioned good taste, yes, I have God of Pain, which is the legacy of gods. I don't know if this is the second one. Yeah, this is the second one, I think. Because looks like pretty great taste to me. Well, that's as maybe. Anyway, I did get God of Pain because I just couldn't stop thinking about God of Malice after I did that reading vlog. And it says, I want that series so hard. Ha ha ha. This one, or this one, because I thought, didn't you already have this one? I thought I saw it on your when you did your shelf tour. I actually got the first book from the library in my first reading vlog, which was reader versus library due dates, included God of Malice. And then when I was up at that same library last week, I saw God of Pain, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to read that. Totally going to read that. I'm kind of fascinated, and I don't know if it's the Hogwarts effect or what, but this idea that there are these parallel institutions, you know, that there's a mafia academy and so on. And it's like, you know, organized crime, they just go to Wharton like everybody else. They go to, you know, the Italian mafia, they'll go to Rutgers in New Jersey for undergrad and NYU for law school or business and public administration. They don't need a separate mafia academy. Okay, got some comments to catch up with. Storm says, hi, Snowden, because we had 6 inches of snow and I am a wimp. So watching Tank with James Gardner. I love this movie. Oh, wow. I never saw it. But I remember the kids in school talking about it because I went to an American military high school, like a high school for America's military dependents overseas and government dependents. So talk about your parallel institutions. And so, of course, my classmates were a lot of bros whose dads were in the military. I mean, our base had a lot of officers, but a lot of them had come up through infantry and through the enlisted ranks. And so their dads would like sit them down and they'd watch Tank. I mean, I think they went to see it in the theater because I think that came out while I was in high school. Yeah, James Garner's. Love James Garner. And Abby Jane says BRB. And Anna says, nope, I have neither. I don't go near my local library often as it's on the opposite side of town. Yeah. So I think they're both available on Kindle Unlimited, but I don't know if you do Kindle Unlimited. So okay, so I do have a box which I received yesterday and which I haven't opened yet. But first, I want to do the 10 minutes of unpleasant chores. Yeah, Stormy, I was going to ask you, like, did it ever actually stop snowing? Because I remember you were in your last clip of your daily vlog yesterday. You were like, when will it stop? Of course, you're a lot more stoic than I am, but I could tell on the inside you were screaming. Hey, hey, says Nicole. Hey, hey to you too, Nicole. Anna says, occasionally when there is the 3 months for 99 cents deal. Yeah, it is a little pricey. Nicole, yay, I made it for the 10 minutes of yuck. LOL. Yes, I was just talking about dust management. I've kind of done this corner already just so I could set up over here and not have to move a bunch of stuff. But the rest of my room, I'm like, how is there so much dust? And how old is it? I mean, this is an older house. Like, I think it was built in 1837, or at least the oldest parts of it were. And it's like, does this dust like date back to like the people who lived here in the 70s who had a grow operation in the attic? Or is it more recent than that? Is it all just me? I mean, it's been renovated since then. And Stormy says, yeah, it stopped around 11 last night. Now just super cold. Yeah, we had the snow. We didn't have a whole lot, but then what happened was we got a layer of ice on top of it. Like it melted partially and then refroze. So it was very slick and it's been super bright here. Like I had to go out yesterday and I was trying to take pictures and I could not see a dang thing, even with my sunglasses on. I was just like, I have no idea what these pictures look like. Am I recording video? Are they still images? I just don't know. So yeah. And Nicole says, oh, wow, you beat me. I'm an old Victorian home built in 1901. That was the year Victoria died. Nicole says, used to be the town banker's house, LOL. When we lived in Belgium, we lived in what used to be the town hall before our village got small enough that it just got folded into another town nearby. So they didn't get their own government anymore. Our house had been the town hall. And we used to joke because my room actually had bars on the windows, even though it was on the second floor. And we used to joke that my room was probably the drug tank. I was a little kid at the time. So if anybody in that house, I was drinking the least amount of alcohol. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, oh, it's the town hall. Okay. Well, ours most, I mean, aside from the people growing dope in the attic in the 70s, because it was the 70s and such things were common at the time, like in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, this mother, this widowed mom and her adult, never married daughter lived here, which, you know, that kind of tracks. So we're keeping that alive. Her daughter was like the town, she was the school librarian. And if you talk to somebody old enough, they'll be like, oh yeah, Virginia. We really, really liked Virginia. It's like, oh, she always had the best recommendations and she was always so good to talk to about books and other things. So, you know, there's some history there aside from the people who were, you know, doing a little naughty agriculture in the attic. Okay, well, I got all this stuff to do, dust and trash management, and I just want to get it over with so I can do something a little more fun. So are we all ready for the unpleasant chore? The yuck. What is it? Was that what Nicole called it? The 10 minutes of yuck. I like that. I think I'm just going to use that term from now on and hope people figure it out. So are we ready for 10 minutes of yuck? Or have people already started the 10 minutes of yuck? Let's do this, says Anna. Okay, I'm gonna mute. Okay, ready? Okay. Oh, she's got the shades. She is ready to go uh full Joe Cool on this situation. That's showing my age. Okay, so I'm gonna mute the mic and I'm gonna put this on. I'm not gonna post the link for the radio station yet because I won't be listening to the radio station. So anyway, unless you guys want it, I don't know if anybody wants to listen to the same radio as I do, but anyway, that way later on when I'm rocking out, you can rock out with me. And Megan's ready. So I'm going to mute the mic and start the timer. Okay, come on back. We did the thing. That was 10 minutes of just sheer unpleasantness. Oh, I took out the trash and I did some dust management. Did I do a perfect job? No, I did not. Did I do a job? Yes. Is it better than it was? Yes. That's what I was looking for. Improvement, not perfection. Abby Jean said, ready to rock. Nicole says, finish my notes for non-worker calls. Okay. Whew. I went right up to the timer basically. So I'm a little out of breath because that was running downstairs to take out the trash and then doing some other stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little warm now. Ana says, I picked up all of the trash and washed all of the cups and my crock pot. Do you just wash the pot itself or do you get liners for it or how does that even work? I was going to get a crock pot, but my mom was like, she never liked stuff out of a crock pot. So I was like, okay, can I have a dual press grill instead? She got it for me for my birthday and we never looked back. I mean, it doesn't do the same thing a crock pot would, but. Megan says, working on manually moving emails over to a new system. Oh, that's gotta be just so much fun. I am going to be working on this shelf. Oh, this is the shelf where I have the other strand of ivy garland that lights up. Because I wrapped it around the posts on that shelf over there that's decorated specifically for spring. And it turned out I didn't need both of these for that. So I just kind of draped it artfully on this top shelf. I'm going to spin you so you can see. Got some religious art and this little squid Christmas ornaments and my Bentley little horror novel. So, I got that going for me. Okay, let's see. Other comments I can read. Ana says, now I just have to vacuum. It was the pot itself. I use it for slow cooking because my dad has no teeth, so the meat needs to fall apart or be cut super tiny. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I get it. Abby Jean says, I love my crock pot. I could only have a couple of recipes for it, though. Pot roast, chicken pot pie soup, and chicken and wild rice soup. Well, I was going to use it to make beef stroganoff. And then I started making beef stroganoff. I started making it either with ground beef or ground turkey. And a couple of times I've used chicken breast. And it's just stuff that doesn't need to cook for a long time. Just, that's all stuff that cooks relatively quickly and it's already fairly tender. And Abby G, okay. Ana says, I also have attention problems and a sensitivity to my gas stove, so using my oven is a bad idea. Yeah, I can see. If you forget that the crock pot is on, what's going to happen? It's just going to get even more tender. Oh, no, not that. Yeah, and gas stoves, we've been hearing a lot about that in the last couple of years about how some people just don't do well with gas stoves and shouldn't have to. Ana says, crockpot stroganoff is delicious. Haha, I slow cook a roast and then split it for stew, shredded tacos, and stroganoff. Yeah, I just do mine. The recipe I found that I used for stroganoff was for a crock pot, and then I just reverse engineered it for a traditional stove. And then, like I said, I started, instead of using stew meat, I started using ground beef or ground turkey or just pieces of white meat chicken. Made so much dust that now I'm a little croaky. Although for lunch today we had a garden salad. It was just lettuce, tomatoes, and cucumbers. And we had some chicken taquitos. I got the box of frozen Southwest chicken, frozen taquitos, and threw them in the oven for a little while, and they were good. Anna says, Lady Gemma has joined our discussion. She seeks attention and treats. That's Lady Gemma for you. She is just like, bring me the treats. Bring me the attention. Are they talking about me? Are they talking about me? Okay, since they're talking about me, now I require treats to process my feelings of joy about being talked about. Okay, so my project today is to, like I said, manually add more books to Goodreads. This is mostly not romance. This is my like horror, science fiction, general fiction kind of thrillers, a lot of thrillers here. So I already did all of the historical romances that are step backs, and I do have a few contemporary and paranormal step backs, but I'm not doing them today because they're in a shelf that is like very close to the floor, and I've already done my floor work for the day. Anna says, I have granted her allotment of catnip treats. She's like, that better just be my allotment for the next 15 minutes. You better not be done for the day. I know. I've been around cats. I know what goes on. Anna says, I haven't read for a couple of days, but I shall solve this today. Yay! And I do have the box. And this particular box might be of interest specifically to Stormy if she's still around. So, and let's see. Yes, I've been reading a lot. I've been reading a YA fantasy trilogy, which I don't have handy at the moment. It starts with a book called The Iron Butterfly by Chandra Han, H-A-H-N. And Ina says, ooh, putty of the box, outside the box, out of the box, putty of the box. I'm not sure I understand the reference. But that's okay. I don't need to. I just need to know that people are excited about the box. What's in the box? It's a kid's show. I typoed. Well, yeah, I haven't been a kid in a while yet. It's been a while since I've been a kid. I am aware of some kids shows I like know they exist, and I might even recognize the animation style for some of the animated ones, but beyond that, I mean, when I was a kid, Morgan Freeman was still on the Electric Company. That's how old I am. Okay, so do we want to do another sprint? Megan's like, do another sprint. I have more stuff to do and I can't pay attention anyway. Megan says, LOL, yes, please. I've got like 10 minutes of work left for today. Well, it's going to be like a 30-minute sprint, though, because I already did the 10-minute sprint. Let's do it. Okay. I am going to put in a link for the radio station. Excuse me. I'll be okay. Great, says Nicole. 30 minutes is perfect. The river 105.9. The river in question being the Connecticut River. I'm going to post a link. So if you want to see what I'm rocking out to, you can listen in or not. I mean, it's totally voluntary. So what you do is you click on that or copy it, And then when you get there, you do actually have to push a button to actually hear what's happening. Okay, so let's see if I can. Oh, it's 2:30, so we're going to go till 3 o'clock or wherever, top of the hour and wherever you are. Oh, I must go retrieve the princess from her Institute of Higher Learning. Oh, well, hopefully a half an hour is enough time to do that. Okay, timer, clock, timer, X. Okay, we've started. And I'm muting. Time to come back. We're done with that particular sprint. We're done, except that I had one more record to enter. Okay, never mind. Call's done, says Nicole. Awesome. My tiara started pinching my head, and now I'm trying to get it to where it's more comfy. Well, I added a bunch of records, and then this is because this is my like science fiction, fantasy, speculative fiction shelf. I ran into a lot of stuff I have that turns out to be like in the middle of a series, or I have part of the series but not all of it. So I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do about that. So I pulled some books for that. And Paige, hey Paige. Hey everyone, just sliding in right as the sprint ends. Well, we're happy to have you. Stormy says finished watching Tank, so reading on Tasmanian Tangle. These seem like things media choices you could have made on Tuesday for like extra alliteration. It's Tank Tuesday and Tasmanian Tangle Tuesday. But Wednesday, yeah, that works too, obviously. Abby Jean says, love that tiara. Yes, this is the Fae Princess tiara. On Monday night, I was wearing the Fae Queen tiara. It's like really tall and has matching jewelry. This is Fae Princess because I'm like the scholar princess today, cataloging all my books. We're trying to. Hey, Paige, says Abby Jean. And Paige says, hey, Abby Jean. And so, Stormy, you're here. And that's cool because I have this box, which came yesterday and which I have not yet opened, which I thought you might be interested in seeing. What's in the box? Do people want to see what's in the box? Always, says Abby Jean. By the way, Stormy says, ooh, an unboxing. While I was cataloging, I cataloged this book. This is the only historical romance I cataloged today. And this is Whippoorwill by Shannon Sala, which caused much amusement when I pulled it out of that romance grab bag. And that was on my very first YouTube video. Well, my first live stream, which was kind of my first YouTube video. On my Sock Marionette channel, I have like one 30-second video of some geese behind my doctor's office from a couple of years back that I put it there so my sister could see it. Okay, Paige says yes. Well, this came about because Stormy was looking at one of her old Harlequins from the late 70s. I think this was, or the early 80s. I think it was the Betty Niels one, or Betty Niels. And she was looking at the back of the book. There was an ad for like these Harlequin special editions. It was like I think it was a 3-volume omnibus that was leather bound. And she was talking about that. And I went looking for it and I couldn't find anything like that online, but I did find something adjacent to that on eBay. And that's what's in the box. Oh, I did mention it to Stormy. I don't know if she decided she wanted to look for this or if that was not a necessary thing for her to have in her collection. Megan says, done work for now and excited to see an unboxing. So what this is these are Harlequin Premier Editions, and it's just like this boxed set of 10 Harlequin romances. No, 12, excuse me, 12. So with tax and shipping, I think these came to like $1.02 each. Anyway, this is what the box inside the box looks like. It's a box set of 12 of these. They are paperbacks, not hardbacks. And they're just kind of fun. So this is a paperback that's got this leatherette stuff. And it is Harlequin Premier Editions. And this one is More Than Yesterday by Jeanette Murray. And it even has a little ex libris in the front, which nobody has ever mauled. And this book, oh wow, it's got an excerpt from the book. I wonder if it has a summary. It does not have a summary because traditionally with Harlequin romance, at least of this era, you would get a summary on the back of the book. I mean, it wouldn't look like this, but you'd have a summary on the back, and then in the front page or two, you would have an excerpt from the book. This just has the excerpt. And this was original hardcover edition published in 1981 by Mills and Boon Limited. This is when Harlequin was just basically the North American English language reissue, did the North American English language editions of Mills and Boon. Stormy says, OMG, that is so cool. I need to find something like that. They are on eBay and they are quite reasonably priced. If you just go to eBay and put in Harlequin Premier Editions, you will see it. I think this one was, I put it on my watch list and the person who was selling came back to me with a 10% discount. Like, do you want to buy this? Here's an offer. And it was cheaper. And that was, so it came to $11 and some change with tax. That was slightly over $12. And there was no shipping charge on that particular listing. So it might be worth it to go and like put a, like favorite it, you put it on your watch list or something like that. And they might actually, whoever's selling it might actually come back to you with an offer. Who knew Harlequin had such cool editions? Yeah. Anyway, so this one is, here's the excerpt. So you married me to punish me, Eve? With great effort, Marianne kept the shock from her voice and hoped her face showed nothing of her inner turmoil. I don't have to stay here, you know. Oh, no, Marianne. Eve's gray eyes glittered at her. You won't leave. You like some parts of being married. Very much. His gaze swept boldly over her, and her swift rise of color told him he was indeed right. You like being married sometimes too, Marianne flung back. As for punishing me, you don't seem to be having much success. Perhaps you'd better try harder. You tempt me, dear wife, he whispered seductively. As he reached for her, Marianne trembled, knowing he touched her with desire. Never love, the worst hurt of all. Oh, yeah. More Than Yesterday by Jeanette Murray. I don't know about all this talk about punishment. I'm like, did they realize how that sounded? Or did they just, Nicole says, you sound like me reading in class. My kids are always begging me to read because I go full out with voices for them. Megan says, LOL, great reading. You could spice up some audiobooks. Well, it comes of decades, literally decades of playing little games with my stuffed animals. All of the stuffed animals and dolls, all of the girl dolls and stuffed animals have high squeaky voices like this, kind of almost like Miss Piggy. And all the boy dolls and stuffed animals have low, growly voices like Mr. Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So Nicole says, oh, yes, some of those audiobooks are not good at all. Yeah, but do you really want to hear like Miss Piggy and Worf like having a romantic interlude? I mean, there's an audience for that somewhere. Boy, my OnlyFans, if I ever start an OnlyFans, I'm going to have just like, the most heinous stuff on there. Abby Jean just thinks the whole thing is hilarious. Anyway, so there are 12 of these books. I set it on the floor and now you'll never be able to pick it up again. Okay. So we have, oh dear. The Lion's Den by Ann Cooper. The Roeg Inheritance by Jean S. MacDonald. I know I've read something by her, but like way, way back when, but not that. The Willing Heart by Helen Bianchen. She's Australian. And boy, her heroes are very pushy. And The Storm Eagle by Lucy Gillen. I don't think I've read anything by her. Oh, good golly. The Kiranilla Road by Dorothy Cork. I'm guessing this is some kind of Australian business. Ooh, Beloved Surgeon by Sheila Douglas. I haven't read this, but you know there's got to be at least one medical romance in there. Flash of Emerald by Jane Arbour. At the Villa Romana by Anne Vinton. Autumn in Bangkok by Jacqueline Gilbert. Pirate Lover by Margaret Mayo. I know I've read books by Margaret Mayo, but not this one. And Forests of the Dragon by Rosemary Carter. Okay, this is like when you break down and play Sun City, because I believe she was a South African writer. And there were a fair number of people who wrote for Harlequin, or Mills and Boon, and then it got republished in North America as Harlequin, who were from South Africa. And it's always interesting to see what they wrote about South Africa during apartheid. Yvonne Whittle was another one, and Jane Balling. And there are even some who like decided not to set their books in South Africa. So instead they moved them to Rhodesia before it was Zimbabwe. So you're just trading in one set of political problems for another at that point. So anyway, those seem like, based on the titles and that summary, that excerpt from that first one, these seem like they would have been republished in the United States more as Harlequin Presents rather than Harlequin Romance, with the emphasis on international travel. Yeah, because this just says Harlequin Premier Editions. It doesn't specify Romance or Presents, or maybe it's a mix of both. But Presents really tended to focus on international travel. And usually that excerpt I read from that first one was very spicy, and it suggested that the couple were having sex as the book was going on. And even though they were married, this is just not something you would have seen in those that were published in North America as Harlequin Romance. And Paige says, you'll have to let us know what your favorite one or most interesting one from that collection is when you read them. Yeah, I'm not sure if I could read them all at once, or maybe I'll do like a vlog that is, I record a clip every few weeks or something when I read one, and then I just do a super cut at the end. Or I just read them off camera and then do a wrap up on camera. Stormy says, I DNF'd to Dorothy Cork book, LOL. The only one I've tried by her. Need to try another from her, but the one I read, her male lead was a big time jerk. Oh, wait a second. Is that the one you were buddy reading with Sarah or somebody? And you DNF'd it, and then now you're trying to buddy read Tasmanian Tangle with them, and they DNF'd it? I don't know if that was Sarah or somebody else, but was that I seem to recall, because the one you're reading now, Tasmanian Tangle, that's Jane Corey, and was buddy reading with Tammy. Okay, with Tammy. Yeah, I remember you're talking about that, because you were like, you had to bail on that book, and then I guess Tammy had to bail on Tasmanian Tangle, and you persisted, and you're like, one day there will be a book that we can both read all the way to the end. Maybe just stay away from writers whose names start with COR, or maybe stick with them. Wasn't there Jane Cormier? Wasn't there a writer for Presents? Well, Mills and Boon Presents, it's called Cormier, Jane Cormier, or something like that. Anyway, I have talked Tammy into trying again with what I have said about it in my videos, LOL. Oh, okay, so she's ready to give it another shot. Well, but from what you're describing, I wonder if Tanya, is that her name? If she blames the dude for her parents' marriage breaking up because she thought he was some sort of seducing heartbreaker, and homewrecker rather, and that her mom would never do this. I'm sure everyone else in this live stream is just like, this is really exciting and interesting to us. we can't get enough of this conversation about books we don't read. Anyway, so Nicole got her stuff done. Megan got her stuff done. Paige just hopped on board. And I guess Ana is still wrangling the princess home from her educational institution. So anyway, so yeah, I added a bunch more books and still have a lot to go. Anyway, that was my exciting. I feel like this was a present from like 12-year-old me to 54-year-old me, or maybe it's a present that 50-year-old me is giving to the 12-year-old me within. Anyway, yeah, I will keep an eye on these, and I'll make extensive notes, and I will publish an academic paper, and I will do a very serious Alistair Cook Masterpiece Theater kind of presentation at some point, because I know that's what people want. Middle-aged lady in a tiara talking very scholarly about Harlequin romances and Harlequin Presents books. So is it already, do we want to start another sprint, or do people want to have some nice chat? Oh, here's one of the books. Let's sprint, says Abby Jean. Although I will point out that I do have this book called Sex Hell, a Love Story by Joe Canzano. Found that at a library sale. Anyway, that's on the shelves that I'm working with. Okay, we'll have another sprint and people can get more stuff done. And I will rock out some more. And we're getting to the point where the shelves. Okay, I'm still working on this middle shelf. Okay, never mind. Let's see, clock. Nicole says, I'd like a sprint too. I need to fine tune a test and then done for the day at work. Paige says, we can sprint. Yeah, because there's still people who have to do like actual professional type stuff. Okay, I'm going to mute the mic, turn on the radio, and yeah, we're going to be in a 30-minute sprint. When you gonna give me some time, Sharona? Oh, my pretty one, my pretty one. When you gonna get me? Hi, everybody. I'm back. I was just playing My Sharona, which is a song I really like. The actual inspiration for the song was a woman named Sharona. I can't remember her surname. Actually, I think she was a teenager at the time. Ooh. Oh, yes. Anyway, now she is a luxury property realtor in the Los Angeles area, which is, I think, where she was originally from. And if you go to her webpage, it shows all the properties she's currently got listed. It plays My Sharona. So she embraces it. So yeah, Nicole is done with work. Thank you for the wonderful music. Love that part of your sprints. Great idea. Yeah, I really enjoyed rocking out last time. So I thought I would just like kind of do that again. It really made the soul sucking job of putting my books on Goodreads a little less rough. So did other people get some stuff done? Stormy says, got to page 86 and watched a little YouTube. Is this 86 of Tasmanian Tangle? It's like, so what that means you're like on chapter 3 or something. Isn't that the one that had really long chapters, or is that what Sarah was reading? Because I think Sarah the Bookish Knitter is also reading a Harlequin retro romance. One of you was saying that the chapters are very long. Oh, she's reading Ring in a Teacup by Betty Niels. And I don't remember which one of you was saying you had a book with very long chapters. And I know those Harlequins can have very small print, so it can be a bit of a challenge to read them. Paige says, it took me months to get all my books on Goodreads. Well, I think I'm getting them done at a rate of about one per minute. The thing is I have over 600 category romances, like about 202 candlelight ecstasy romances, and about 414 Harlequin Presents. And I have them in a spreadsheet, but did I put the ISBN numbers on that spreadsheet? No, I did not. Because I have dyscalculia and I wouldn't know if I made a mistake because I frequently transpose numbers, and there's no way to know whether or not you made a mistake because there's nothing particularly intuitive about how those numbers work. Stormy says, yep, it has long chapters. All those older ones do. Yeah. Anyway, so I have them on there, and with the candlelight ecstasies, I actually have a whole row that's like the tropes, like it's amnesia or marriage in trouble or second chance or whatever. But since those spreadsheets don't have ISBNs, it's not particularly useful. So I wanted to use those to get people to kind of maybe suggest books I should read for my next retro romance vlog. What I might do is just share the spreadsheet rather than trying to enter all those in there. Let's see. Now, More Than Yesterday. Oh, they did that other thing you do not like. It's 190 pages and it has 10 chapters. And they did this other thing you were, oh, wow, this has never been read. Or if it was by somebody who was very, very careful. But it's got that thing where the chapter starts in the middle of the page. Oh, Megan's doing her tutoring. Bye, Megan. Thank you for stopping in. Have fun with the students. Stormy says, I hate that. Yeah, I mean, it's really, really annoying. I mean, seriously, it's like you might as well not have chapter breaks at this point. Anyway, so I was thinking I might end up sharing the spreadsheet for those category romances. And because like I said, I have over 600 of them and I don't really feel like doing those manually. And then seeing if people were interested in kind of like giving me some directives on what I should read. I mean, I can do that with Goodreads as well, but I was trying to figure out a way to do that for the categories without actually having to sit there and spend literally 10 hours finding them. Stormy says Caroline's Waterloo had chapters like that. Yeah. I think it also depended on how long the books were. Like I know that they had like a pretty tight word count requirement, but I think you could go over and then they would just set them a little differently, design the book a little differently. Like this, The Lion's Den by Ann Cooper, it has larger print and the chapters don't start in the middle of the page. And it is, say, 186 pages. So it's a little shorter by page count, but it's a lot shorter when you consider that they don't start the chapters in the middle of the page. And the print is just a smidge bit larger. So that was, I think, how they kind of, I wouldn't say cheated it, but it's like if you had a longer manuscript, then they would like work with that. And if you had a shorter manuscript, they would work with that. Book design. Okay. So do people have big plans for the next sprint? Or I feel like it's Thursday. I know I do these midweek motivation is always on Wednesdays, but I always think it's Thursday. And then I'm like, oh, and tomorrow we'll have Wake Up to Romance with Mama Needs to Read Romance. And then it's like, no, tomorrow's only Thursday. Nicole says, I decided to clean up my grade book a bit, just organizing. Paige says, more work, but I might take a little break and grab some lunch. Lunch, yes, because you are in Pacific Standard. Abby Jean says, I'm working on finishing Bet on It by Jody Slaughter and organizing stickers. Ooh, stickers. Well, I'm getting to the point where the next shelf I have to do, I just have a couple more books left on this shelf that's right here by my knee. And then the next shelf is down like practically to the ground. There's a lot of large print down there. Stormy says, just reading probably. I could clean up my room, but who wants to do that? No. LOL, she says. LOL. I could clean my room, but it's cold. Oh, when you're talking about how cold it is and how you guys have to keep getting up like every couple of hours to make sure the fire doesn't go out and whatnot. I was wondering if you have a hot water bottle because I love my hot water bottle. Might be something to look into. Or you don't even need to do that because you could just like if you have a stove rather than a fireplace, you could just put like a brick on the stove and wrap it in a towel and put it down by your feet after it heats up. I'm sure you have all of these strategies in place for that kind of thing. My mom says when they were little, now they had like central heating, so they had like a register, and they would put magazines on top of the register, and then the magazines would get nice and warm, and then they just go put them in their beds for a few minutes before bedtime. And of course, she lived in Northern California, and it did get cold, but it didn't get super cold. I mean, it wasn't Missouri. And Paige says yes, Pacific. Mm-hmm. Oh my. This is one of those situations where my shelves are just like an absolute shambles right now. It's got to get worse before it gets better. Stormy says, now that sounds like something from Little House on the Prairie. I hope you don't mean the magazines, because the magazine thing really worked because they had central heating, or something akin to it. Take the brick on the stove and then you wrap it in a towel. I think that's probably where I read about that originally, or might have been in something in like Chronicles of Narnia or something that took place in the UK. Stormy says, no, I have never warmed a brick. And then she laughs like, warm a brick. That's just crazy talk. Well, the thing is that I mean, I have my hot water bottle and I love it so because I have a tendency to have cold feet, like literally have cold feet. And it actually does get pretty toasty for the rest of me. So it's an endless struggle between me and the temperature. So I have the hot water bottle and it's all cozy and delightful. And then I get too warm and then I'm rolling it out of the way and then I'm rolling it back. It's just okay. It sounds like warming a brick. It sounds like an insult. Go warm a brick. Yeah, well, your mother wears army boots. Actually, plenty of moms wear army boots these days. Yeah. Your sister swims out to troop ships. Yeah, go warm a brick. Okay, so are people hungry for more sprints and more classic rock, or do is like it's I don't know whether if people are just like, oh, don't talk, oh, we want the sprints, is because I'm doing a bad job or because I'm doing a really good job of keeping people happy and motivated and wanting to do more. Mhm. People are like, we're already sprinting. Abby Jean says, you're doing great. I'm a little distracted today, been working on various tasks. Well, like I said, maybe like people not immediately jumping in to join the conversation isn't a bad sign. It's a good sign. I'm keeping them uh, in a productivity place or a reading place. Or Stormy says we can sprint, and Abby Jean's doing various tasks. So yeah, okay. I shall mute the mic and start the sprint. Okay, it's time to come back now. Bye, Nicole. I think I missed her farewell. Her kids are home and they're begging for mom. Have a great day, everyone. Well, I guess she's already gone, so I hope she has a great afternoon and her kids aren't too demanding. As you can see, I got a little chilly, so I put on my robe, nightgown / robe thing. I just put it on over what I was already wearing. I think it was all that talking about hot bricks and hot water bottles and whatnot. Now my feet are just freezing. And Stormy, are you there? Just give a quick thumbs up. I had something to tell you. Abby Jean and Paige both said bye to Nicole. But yeah, Stormy, if you're there, give me a quick thumbs up because I had, like I said, I had a couple of things to tell you. Well, just one really. So I got some more books added. Okay, Stormy, you're here. Great. I had a pronunciation note for you. That name, Aisling, that's usually pronounced as Aisling. Aisling. Because I know this because there's an Irish comedian and actor named Aisling B, and that's how she pronounces it, Aisling. There might be other ways to pronounce it, but that's what I've heard. And I also sent you a DM on Discord about the yikes about this set if you're interested. And Stormy says, "Oh, okay, it looks nothing like that, LOL." Well, it's Gaelic, so, or Irish rather, so it's going to do that. Abby Jean says, "I get cold a lot too. I love my electric heating pad, and for Christmas, Kevin got my electric heated mittens. Ooh, mittens. I am spoiled, LOL," says Abby Jean. Ah. And it's just like you'd wake up in the middle of the night and you'd put your hands on his back to warm them up, and he would just like have a nightmare about a Yeti climbing into bed with him or something like that. And then he's just like, I need to get her some electric mittens and maybe some other warming products. So, I mean, yes, it was kind of him, and yes, you are spoiled, but it was also a certain amount of, benign self-interest on his part. Eddie Jean says, "Yep, LOL." Mm-hmm. So, anyway, my back is starting to bother me. I still have a few books to deal with, but I'm almost done. At least I'm almost done with this bookcase. I mean, I still have some Out in the Heartfelt Hallway and like that, but Paige says, "I'm with you, Abby Jean. Dan bought me heated socks one year for Christmas, and they are great." Heated socks, do you like put them in the microwave, or are they like electrified, like you actually plug them in? I'd worry about having, Abby Jean says, "So sweet." I'd worry about having electrified socks because I also have the hot water bottle, and sometimes there's a little excess moisture on it. And yeah, I don't want to electrocute myself. My feet aren't that cold. Mind if I smoke? So, yeah, I'm probably only good for a few more minutes here. So, unless people want like a quick 10-minute sprint or something like that, I think I'm about ready to call it an afternoon. We have been at it for over 2.5 hours now. And anybody have anything they want to share? I'm next to the Valentine's tree still. This is part of the Valentine's tree you usually don't see because it's so close to the floor. Paige says they have a small rechargeable battery pack that stays in an outside pocket and connects to a wire in the socks. Yes, I would be very, very concerned about using them in conjunction with a hot water bottle. I'm sure they have something in like the instructions, the safety advisory that says, "Do not use this in conjunction with water." Abby Jean says, "Same with the mittens." Mm-hmm. Abby Jean says, "You wouldn't need both, LOL." You have not met my feet. Little blocks of ice. Oh, I have low blood pressure. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Like my blood's not circulating properly because I have such low blood pressure. Stormy says, had a good rest of your day. We'll be heading downstairs soon. She's going to nanook her way downstairs and she's going to tend the fire and so on. Abby Jean says, thanks for the sprint sock. Bye, everyone. Bye. I hope to see you again next week. Well, I'll probably see you before then because of Lemon needs to read romance. But Paige says, I got to get a pair of heated mittens to go with the socks. Or a plastic bubble. Just go everywhere in a plastic bubble that has like a robust space heater and like snacks and a wine fridge. And I don't know, that kind of thing. You could be the woman in the bubble. But just you don't need it all the time. You just need to, like, when you go out, when it's cold, you just take it with you. A little hot cocoa, a couple of books. Abby Jean says, yes, Paige, they have gloves too if you prefer. Woohoo! I remember when I was in school, they tell us, yeah, mittens are dorky, but they're like more effective. I mean, these were just like regular gloves and mittens. They're more effective than gloves because then your fingers are all hanging out together and they can draw warmth from one another. I'm like, is my ring finger leaching heat off of my pinky? Because that sounds like something it would do, frankly. Abby Jean says, and I needed some heated socks. I'd say it's a double coincidence of wants, except that you both want. Yeah, anyway, nobody wants to trade their heated socks for their heated mittens. Well, like I said, I still have a few books to add. I have Never Ever by Colleen Hoover. I've only read one Colleen Hoover book, and it was, Colleen Hoover and Taryn Fisher. I've only read one book by Colleen Hoover, and it was Verity. Paige says, oh, good to know, Abby Jean. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll let you go enjoy your evening sock. Thank you for the sprints. You're welcome. I hope to see you again. Like I said, I'll see you in other people's sprints, but I hope to see you again here a week from today on Wednesday for midweek motivation. There will be reminders posted to the point where you think, is she nagging me? She's nagging me, isn't she? What a nag. Okay, so we're going to end the stream, and thank you all for showing, and I hope you had a good time and you got stuff done, or you didn't. You just vibed. Whatever. It's all good, and I'll see you next week. Paige says, I'll be here next week, hopefully on time. Well, the nice thing about these kinds of sprints is that there's like, it's just the hanging out and having a good time. So there's no on time, there's no early, there's no late. Well, there is early. There's no late. Just show up when you show. Bye.